All right. Okay. There we go.
Okay.
Wow. What
We're
was
all
the
set
now?
now.
Anybody who wanted to listen to the show hung up on us. All right, because they're like, "What are they doing? A complete mic and headphone check before the show
Check,
starts."
check,
Yeah,
check,
exactly.
check, check,
But
check,
that's all right.
check.
That's all right. I like this because this is all part of the show. We're doing a show on complaining, and it's just so nice that I was complaining about my headphones. You two were complaining about yours. We didn't even care about the audience. The audience is probably complaining because they're like, "What kind of a show is this?"
As long as they
You
can
know?
hear, you know.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
what?
As long as they can hear the show.
That's right. That's right. But
Right.
they want to know what they're going to hear. So let's just jump right into it. How's about that?
How about that?
All right. So again, happy Monday, everyone. Happy Monday. Thank you so very much for tuning into 98.3 FM, The Life. You're listening to Bacon Bits with Master Happiness. I come at you every single Monday night at 7 o'clock to talk about your job, your career, your vision made clear, the skills that you hone for the business that you own, the ups and downs, the smiles and frowns, where you're at and where you're bound. And like I said, I don't even know if I introduced myself. I'm Marty Jalove, the host. All right. I got so excited. I'm sitting in the studio with two lovely women here. You know, it's I'm all I can't even think of the word.
Discombobulated.
Discombobulated. There you go.
I like that word.
There you go. All right. So usually what happens, I have some different guests here and we talk about business issues and how we can maybe become better leaders, how we can become better employees, all kinds of things. But today, this is an episode working years with Tiffany that I said, oh, I got to do a show on complaining. Okay. Not that you complain, Tiff.
Yeah, that
No.
was real funny.
It was funny. so today's show we're going to do the show about chronic complaining. Why do people love to complain so much? And so we're going to get into some of the whys of complaining and how we can deal with it, how we can become aware of it, how we can talk to people who are those chronic complainers and see if we can turn the entire world around. Let's do this all in 1 hour. Okay.
I know, we could do that. We could change the world in an hour.
There you go. And we have the fantastic new member of our group here, at least for today. I'm going to throw the camera on you over there.
Hey, Jill.
No, that's you. I see now complaining.
it's me.
That's Tiffany. All right. So we're gonna learn how to work that. There you go.
There you go.
Look at this, Jill.
look
You're
like
an expert.
Tiffany.
My gosh.
Right.
Look at that. No, it works out. You're like set. You're perfectly centered in the video and everything. That
Yeah,
worked
I
out.
don't think
Tiff, you have to like move over or something. Do something.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
We don't know.
Let's see.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, Tiff, that's a little bit better.
Better?
All right,
Okay.
that's better. All right. So go ahead, Jill, introduce yourself. Those people who listen to this show have no idea who you are. You know, they probably they've probably heard the voice before, you know.
Right.
So tell us who you are, why you lead one of those lives where you have nothing to complain about.
Because I'm retired.
Yeah.
But I still complain.
No, I don't believe that.
Because I have not enough to do, I think, is my complaint.
Okay.
I like
all
to
right.
be busy,
Good.
but I don't like to be too busy.
Gotcha.
So there's a kind of a fine line there, I think, between having enough to do,
Right.
you know, and sitting there going, well, what should I do today? Every day is Saturday, you know, because you're retired. So there are things you can do.
I hear you. But now tell us, so how long have you been on part of the radio
I've
station?
been part of the station for 10 years.
Ooh.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
we just
okay.
finished a 10-year run on the So Present show.
Happy anniversary.
Woohoo! Thanks, Lou. Yeah, he started it. He kind of got a group together.
Okay.
We're doing a half-hour show once a month.
Yeah.
Apparently, that changed over the course of 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. And now his show just ended, right? And
We ended at the end of December.
right.
And he's going to do a different show, I think.
Gotcha.
And then I was invited to be on the big show on a Monday. I would fill in when Ronald had to leave, you know, halfway through the show because he
Okay.
had other commitments. So I would stop by maybe once a month or every couple of weeks. And then they asked if I wanted to just jump in, and I said I'd love to.
Awesome.
For the
Because
Monday.
the other show had finished. So it's nice to be part of a different show.
Nice.
Different ideas.
You
and
got to
different-
keep Rusty in
so
his
it's
place.
it's fresh, you know.
Yeah.
It's different. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Good. Keep him in his
Excellent.
place.
Somebody
you
has
go.
to keep Rusty in his place. I know.
Exactly. There you go. Well, you're definitely pretty up their show. I mean, you got Ron and Rusty there. Thank God it's a radio. Okay. So Tiff, you're on the camera, just so you know that.
Yeah.
So yeah, come on. I just want you to remind the people who you are, why you're on the show. Come on, you're my bestest buddy.
I'm on the show because Marty makes me be on the show.
Oh yeah, that's it. All right, beautiful. I love it. All right, fine. That's what we'll go with.
Okay.
But Tiff, you've been
I
So
don't know
when
how
I
long.
started, it was this is my 5th year on the show,
Okay, so
and
it's
so
probably my 4.
no, no, you started. I started on your show.
Right.
Yeah.
But
So,
you started in towards the very beginning of our show.
oh,
We weren't
really?
on that very
Oh, I didn't
long.
know that.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. So, all
yeah.
right. And then you took
It was
some
good.
time off.
I took some time off.
All right. Yeah. So this is cool. So now on the camera, of course, is me because it's
But
my show and I
it's
want to
your
be on the
show.
Good.
camera. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So again, we're talking about the idea of complaining, and I got a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, I was doing all kinds of research on this, and it is. I have to complain about the fact that there's so much to read
It's
about
too much to
complaining.
read. We've got an
Yeah.
hour. So,
Yeah.
you
Exactly.
right.
So before we jump into this whole idea of complaining, what I wanted to do is I got 2 sets of bacon for today.
2
Okay.
Now,
sets.
Jill, I know you've listened to the radio because there's plenty there or this show because
Right.
there's plenty of times at the end of the show you send us something going, "Oh, great show, love
Right.
this kind of stuff." So you understand the reason we call it bacon bits is because everything bacon touches becomes
A
just a little
little
bit
bit
better,
better.
right? Right
Right.
there you go. Oh, look at
Yep.
you're
Do
gonna
you
mirror
think
me.
she's gonna
Well, we're
know?
gonna see. We're gonna see.
Okay,
We're gonna see.
okay.
All right. So the idea here is the show is called Bacon Bits because everything bacon touches becomes a little bit better, right? And of course, when we're talking about real life, we're not talking about the bacon for chewing. We're talking about
The bacon for doing.
nice. All right. Excellent. There you go. The bacon for doing. So we use
Right.
the acronym BACON as kind of a loose outline for the show.
And it's
And
different every week.
that's right. This is
Right.
for 5 seasons, right?
Right.
Every week has been
Every
a new
week.
bacon. So today is no different. And today we actually have 2 strips of bacon. All right. One is the different types of complainers. And I want to kind of get into
Ooh.
this a little bit. So I'm going to try to
Okay.
read through the 5 different types of complainers, the reasons people complain. And I want to get your feedback on that, on what you think drives people to be that person. And what do you think we can do about that? All right.
Okay.
So I'm going to read through them first, and we're going to go back to the beginning.
Oh, she's taking notes.
Good. Yep,
I was
you
taking
usually
notes.
take notes.
I
Yeah,
know, but
yeah.
I didn't
Right.
bring paper. or
That's all
anything.
right.
Okay.
I've got an extra crayon. Okay. So the first one, B, is this: the bonding complainer. This is the complainer that looks upon complaining as a social tool, looks for other types of complainers and surrounds himself. It's the way that the complainer connects with other people.
So
That's
they
the
feel
B.
like they're not alone.
Exactly, exactly. And that to me is probably the biggest thing, is people use that as a way to connect. The A today is going to be the attention seeker. This is the person who says, I'm just trying to get attention, like, woe is me, everything is awful, blah, 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 and they need some attention. All right. This is the type of thing that you mostly get from children. All right.
Ah,
Because they're looking for that attention. Then you've got C. I'm going to call this the chronic complainer. Okay. This is the person beyond wanting attention, they want pity. Okay,
Ah.
so they're going to complain all the time. And this complaining is usually, when they complain about other things, it's usually a reflection of their own ego. It's a reflection of who they are. All right. And so they complain about other things, and it's a way of protecting themselves. And they just want you to pity them. O is, we're going to call them the overwhelmed outpourer. This is the person who's just so frustrated, they just need to scream. Like things, this is maybe the closest to legitimate. Things are really going wrong for them
Right.
and they need to just blow up. Okay. And then N, we're going to call this the nostalgic negativist. Okay. I really tried using the
Wow.
letters right. All right. This is the person who has just complained so much their entire life that their neural pathways are kind of focused on negativity, that they just can't stop complaining. This is just who they are. It's not for any other particular reason other than their entire life they've just complained, and now that's the type of person they are.
could that be turning into like a habit? So that's why that's the type of person.
Yeah, yeah.
If ever since they were a kid they kept doing it and now it's a habit and that's who they turned into be.
Completely.
Yeah.
And it's beyond that, because in reality, what ends up happening is, we've talked in other shows about we become the conglomeration of our closest friends, right? The people we
Right.
surround ourselves with. And what happens is our brain continues to replicate or listen to us talk. I mean, our brain is an amazing thing. The brain can change us. The brain can make us healthier. The brain can make us sick. But the brain is also easily tricked. What we tell our brain, sometimes it cannot tell the difference between fantasy and reality. So if
Right.
we are constantly complaining, what happens is we replay that in our head, and those neural pathways of negativity get wider and wider. It's kind of like walking through a forest. Okay, the first time you walk through it, it's really difficult, but the same time you walk through that same path over and over and over again, it gets bigger and bigger, and before you know it, that's the only path you walk on. And that's what this constant negativity, it changes the way our brain works, and we just live there because we don't know any other way. So they're the hardest ones to change. They're the
Oh.
hardest ones to grow out of that.
But you'll be able to change them.
Oh, together we will. Yes.
I didn't write down B because I didn't get my pen out quick enough.
Oh,
So
all right. So
Oh,
that's
no.
all right. So we're going to go with that. That's the bonding complainer. We're going to call that person. That's the one
Okay.
who is looking for a friend.
ah,
So they're looking for that social network. It's easier to complain than it is to say something
yes,
cheerful.
I know people like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure. Well, I'll tell you what, Jill, since you're new at the show, let me see. Oh, I gotta figure
What
out
are
which
you
button it is.
doing?
It's 3 buttons. I had just mastered 2 buttons. Now I'm using 3 because there's 3 of us here. So
Oh.
yeah, so I have to figure out which
Now you're
who's who.
complaining.
I'm complaining, yeah, but not chronically. I don't think so. And I'm not complaining to get you as friends. I already have you as friends.
Right.
So Jill, you said this bonding complainer. You now obviously I don't want you to call out anybody, but tell
No.
me a little bit about people that you've known that are just the complainers to surround themselves with other complainers.
Maybe people that I may go for coffee with, or I go somewhere with, go for lunch or something, and you can't actually get a word in because
Oh.
they keep going and keep going and keep going about what's going on in their life, and it's like what, and you just don't even get to say
Do
anything.
you just
But
smile
you're
and
still their
nod?
friend because you feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's like, can't- and you can't even get to say anything at all.
and and
So,
and the tough part, the
but it's
thing is,
venting. It's also venting for them because they
right.
don't have anybody else to vent to.
And I think it's important to understand that we have to allow people to vent, like
Right.
explode for a very short period of time.
Not for a whole hour.
Right,
Right.
because we don't want
Right.
yeah. And so I think the only way to handle people in that regard who are looking for friendship, they want people to surround them, is to identify that and say, "Yes, I see what you're going through. That really sounds rough. But are you looking for a solution? Are you looking for a path out of here?" Okay?
And I don't think they are. I think they just want to share with you.
And I think you've got to
Right.
continue to fight it to make it clear to them that you don't want to have that conversation. You want to talk about the positives. I mean,
Right.
you go outside and it's like it's raining outside and you're like, well, the grass needs it. Oh my God. Then the next day you're with them.
Right.
Look at this. And you're like, it's sunny out. Yeah, I'm going to get a sunburn.
Right.
Okay. They're always
Exactly.
looking at the negative.
Exactly.
So it's up to us to keep like they're forcing you to listen to the negative. It's up to us to listen to it, hear their outburst, but then continue to keep looking at the positive. Force them, let them get tired of hearing you being so positive. Okay,
I'll give them your number.
yeah, there you go. Oh, thanks.
Okay, I have a situation and I want to
Shoot.
know
Look at this. I
what
switched
what
correctly.
letter.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what letter it would
Yeah.
be. Okay. Someone says, I want to say negative things about what's going to happen. So when it turns out to be positive, I have something to be happy about
Okay.
rather than have positive, and then it goes wrong, then you're more upset. So you would rather be happy and think negative when something good turns out rather than being trying to be positive all the time and something negative, then you're
Sure.
sad. So
Yeah.
I know someone like that.
Just like that.
Yeah.
And so that's tough. It's again digging into it a little bit more and figuring out, are they always doing this? Is it very specific areas? Because again, it can be that whole thing of they're looking for attention
Okay.
or they're looking for pity,
Okay.
right? And so you've got to look at either one of those. Now, it could be the type of person who, because when you're saying they're talking negative, they're saying these, they're always complaining because the worst that'll happen is I'll be right. The best
Correct.
that'll happen is it'll be
Exactly.
better
That's
off,
what I
right?
was trying to say.
There you go. I can speak
You
Tiffany.
speak Tiffany.
There you go. The deal is that they still could be that type of person who just trained themselves to always be negative.
Okay.
Okay. So you don't really know. But I think the most important thing is this is uh, working with a lot of women in my life. Okay. And thank goodness I learned some wonderful things. In fact, I just published a new book. I talked to you about it. Published a new book called Manage Monkeys, Lead Lions. It's a book on leadership. And so I'm anxiously waiting for my box of copies, right? But it's available on Amazon. It's about leadership. And I dedicated this book to all the women who I've worked for throughout my entire life.
Oh, so the
Yeah.
front cover is gonna I dedicate this to Tiffany.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly. Yeah, that's right. Oh, look, they misprinted it again, right? But I learned a lot from the women that I worked for versus the men I worked for, and generally speaking, the men that I've worked for versus the women I've worked for, they've had two different ways of approaching. Men are we're kind of like we're charging, we're you're along with me. It's a fight, it's a battle. Only the tough survive. Whereas the women I worked for have been a little bit more caring and nurturing and saying, a little more empathetic to their employees and saying, what's going on? How can we fix this?
Mm.
And I've always preferred that type of a leader. Okay. And so the reason I'm telling you that story is that I've been divorced and remarried, and over time, between my mother, wonderful woman who's long gone, my wife, and my daughter, my oldest daughter, Katie, the three of them have taught me to stop always being a man and trying to fix everything. And sometimes, I see
Bingo.
that. I see that.
Bingo.
All right, but just sometimes listen, and it's difficult because I'm a man who wants to
To
fix
fix
things,
things.
and
Exactly.
and sometimes women tend to go, sometimes I just need to
Vent.
vent, right? So I always say we've got to look at both ways. If I am willing to learn to listen, women in my life have to also learn to let me fix things.
Right.
Okay.
But it does work both ways.
Yes, it has to.
And I know years ago I was having a really hard time at work and I came home and I was like ready to quit and I said, I just want to quit my job. And my husband said, well, just, I said, I had a really bad day. And I really wanted him to listen about my bad day.
Yeah.
And he said, well, just quit. It's like, I don't want to just quit. I want you to pour me a glass of wine and listen to my day.
Right, right. Yeah,
But he wanted to fix it for me
exactly.
because he didn't want to see me upset.
Correct.
And I get that. But it takes a while for us to get that because we don't want
Sure.
to fix it. We want to listen.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
want to fix it.
A-
But if you can meet in the middle,
Somewhere in the middle. And I think it really goes way back to prehistoric man and woman, where it was the man went out, saw the food, saw the deer, and said, "Kill it." Boom, now I
right.
have food. Whereas the females usually were the harvesters, and they gather and they'd say, "Look, don't pick all of these because they're not ripe yet. We have to take our time to get food." Whereas the man was just like, "Kill it, now we have food." Okay.
And
Right.
blame the wife when it doesn't taste good.
Exactly. There you go. There you go.
Right.
I knew you'd say something, Tiff. But the point I wanted to make was this: is that I finally came up with something that tends to work when I'm talking with my wife, even my daughter, is if they come to me and they say, "Here, I've got something. This has really been bothering me." Not complaining, because neither of them really complain. They voice frustration, but they don't get to the point where it's blown out of proportion, right? So I try to ask, all right, is it something you're telling me something that you would like me to fix? Please just tell me that. Or is it something that you would like my help in fixing? Or is it something that you would just like to vent to get out of your system?
So you
Yeah.
say that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And sometimes just straight out like that, because then they're able to go, I just need to vent. Then I'm like, okay, venting is okay. I can allow that to happen. But I also make something very clear that I won't allow venting to turn into whining. You can vent for a while. But at a certain point in time, we have to make the decision of, are we going to fix this, or are we just going to keep complaining? Because then it turns into complaining, right?
Right.
So what we have to do is go ahead and vent, erupt, get it out of your system, and then either we're going to put it off to the side and say, this is something I can't fix, I got to live with it, or it's something I can
Fix it.
fix, I'm going to fix it on my own, or I need your help to fix it. Yeah. But you have to get to that too. And I think that's the great compromise. That's how, and again, I'm always speaking generally about men and women. This is the great compromise that men and women work together. That if men can listen and ask that question, do you want me to fix this? Do you
Right.
want my help fixing it? Or do you need to vent? If we can do that, and then you vent, and at that point in time, but you say, I know I can't vent for the entire
Put
hour.
a timer on that.
Yeah, that would be right, right. And I hold up my watch
Yeah.
and vent.
Go
Go.
ahead, go ahead.
Time. Okay, right.
Right.
But I think that's the important thing, because then
Yeah.
I if I am willing, you find a guy who is willing to listen to you vent,
Right.
that guy is really he cares about you and he wants to fix the problem. So
Right.
you vent, get it out and say, "Now help me fix the
But you
problem."
can't vent about the same thing over and over and
Oh,
over again and not have it fixed.
exactly. Exactly. Right. And that's that Albert Einstein said, the true sign of low intelligence, I think it was facing the same problem over and over again.
And expecting a different result.
That's it.
Right.
Yes. All right.
Mm.
So Tiff, you haven't talked in a while. How you doing?
I
Are you just are you
I'm
just
all
sucking
good.
it all up,
I'm
right?
sucking it
What
all
do you
up.
think? What do you think about you for people? You talked about some people like that. What about your relationships? Would you say that you're a complainer or you're a venter?
I vent.
Okay. You vent a long time, short time?
I don't think it's a long time, but I would say probably a short time. I get the story out and then I'm done.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Okay.
then I thank whoever I'm venting to. Thank you for listening to me. I had to get it off my
Right.
chest. And that's it.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And Jill, I think I would put you in probably in the same category. Wouldn't you
I
say?
think so. I
That you're
think I vented for longer when I was working and frustrated about the job
okay.
at certain different jobs or certain different days, but it's the same problem at the job. But
Yeah.
it won't
Uh,
change because I have the job and I like the job, but certain days just didn't go well. Same reason. So really have to let it go.
Okay,
yeah.
right. I would agree. So we got a couple minutes to the bottom of the hour already.
Sheesh.
Okay. Yeah, this went fast. So I just want to kind of go through this whole thing of the attention seeker. Okay, is that person we said is the one who is looking uh, to just get attention. So they're going to complain about it. And I think it's okay if you can identify that is to still give them the attention that they want, but
Right.
turn it into a positive. Okay, it's always let's find the positive out of here. And I like asking those questions.
I do that.
Are you saying this to me because you want me to fix this? You want me to just hear you out? You want my help fixing it? What's the deal? Because if you're always showing, I am the light for you. I'm the one who's going to show you a new way. Okay. I'll let you vent, but I'm not going to listen to you whine. Okay. And I think it's really important because the attention seeker just wants the attention. And so you can still be that person for them. Okay. When you get into the other ones about the person who wants pity, okay, that's the toughest one for me. All right. Is if I know that they just want to be pitied, I'm like, look, again, I'm going to let you vent. I'm going to let you vent, but you are complaining. This is, remember, we talked about falling into a hole.
Oh,
Okay.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, we talk about people
Right.
falling in a hole and they sit at the bottom of a hole crying, going, I'll never get out. And I want to stand there. Have you tried? No, the walls don't look, I can't climb up these walls. They're too steep. And I'm like, but have you tried? Right. Or worse than I lower a ladder and say, climb up the ladder. And they're like, no, that
I'm
ladder
too
doesn't look
tired.
safe. Right. I'm too tired or whatever. Right. And you're like, eventually you have to understand that if that's how you're going to act, I'm going to take the ladder and leave.
You have to sit in the corner and eat worms. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
that's it.
That's
Yeah.
right. It's a whole different answer. Right. There you go. All right. And we talked a little bit about the people who want to explode. Okay. That's what I'm calling the overwhelmed outpourer. They need to explode. Sometimes you're like, hey, do you need space? You need to just scream? Do you need to go punch the wall or something like that? Whatever you need. But it's again, it's got to come to an end. It can't be, I'm gonna be frustrated for days. You gotta snap out of it. Okay. And then finally, those that you find are completely always just negative and always complaining and always whining, no matter what, nothing can possibly go right. You have to, I think if you're close to them, you have to say, is this really the life that you want? Okay, is this how you want to lead your entire life? That every single thing you look at the negative because you can look at the positive.
You can.
Okay.
Right.
And so I was listening to this cool podcast, something called, it was a book review.
Master of happiness?
That's no, no. I wish, but I kind of like this one. Was it said like a world of no complaining, something like that. And what they talked about was that someone who is a chronic, a real chronic complainer, that it's just part of their psyche, is they suggested wearing a bracelet, and every
Snap it on your
well,
wrist.
that's for quitting
Right.
smoking, but
Oh,
this
okay.
one this one no, no, yeah, well, that's a different show, Kit Tip. All right,
You smoke?
no, no, I never
Oh.
smoked. No, I just know that no, what happens is when you become aware that you're complaining, like, and you have a friend going, "That sounds like you're complaining," you take the bracelet off and put it on the other wrist. And
Okay.
then the next time you complain, you take it off and put it back on the first wrist.
But it gets
And
old.
well, after a while, you start realizing, oh my gosh, I am really complaining a lot. All I do is complain. And so the more you do that, you come up with some kind of a physical act to do something once you become aware of what you say.
Right.
All right. And you start the idea of then switching it back and forth. Eventually, like you said, it gets old. You're like, I don't want to switch this. I don't want to keep doing
I
this.
think some people don't know that they do it all the time.
No,
No,
I don't
no.
think so
They
either.
really
So they
don't.
won't be using they wouldn't be switching.
But that's why it's sometimes in the beginning, especially, it takes a friend to say, hey, if you really want to break this habit, I'll be with you. But I'm going to be the one going,
We gotta get some bracelets.
yeah, exactly. Where right, just start wearing a bunch of them and just start passing them out to people. Here's one for you, etc. Right. Okay, so those are the negative people, and so I'm looking at this, and I didn't even pick any little cool commercials to play during this. Can you believe that? So we're just going to shut a couple of these off here, and we're going to play. Oh, we have a show called Improv Leadership. That goes right along with my book coming up. But anyway, so we're going to play a couple of little promotions for the other shows and some of the people who sponsor the station here.
Well,
And
that's
then
very nice of you.
oh, well, I'm a nice guy, right? And then we'll be right back with Jill and my bestest buddy Tiffany. So please stay tuned. Don't go away. Hello and welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you so very much. Those little ads, those little announcements were quick. I've been off here in the back with these two women complaining about how short this show is. Okay.
Women.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, anyone that's sitting in the room with you two women would have nothing to complain about.
Oh,
About other than the fact that Marty is a liar. Okay. All right. So Jill informed us that she might be disappearing at some point in the show. So Jill, you're more than welcome to stay.
might as
We're-
well. It's only a half hour left.
Yeah, it's easy. It's only good.
Dinner will be late, honey.
That's
Sorry.
right. There you go. There you go. All right. So the second half of the show, we're going to talk a little bit about how we beat some of this if we see it in ourselves. So that bracelet thing is a really cool idea. If you don't know what we're talking about, that means you missed the first half of the show. So remember, you can always catch the recording of the show at Bacon Bits with Master Happiness anywhere you listen to podcasts. We'll put that up later in the week. Hopefully, I've been putting it up like
You
the
have
next
been
day.
putting up, yeah,
Putting it up very
yeah.
quickly.
You've been
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
a pretty
Well,
darn good job at
thanks.
that.
Thanks, Tiff. That means a lot to me. All right. So the bacon today about how we're going to stop complaining, and it's for ourselves. Once we realize this, or we can help other people who are those chronic complainers, those people with the outbursts, etc. Because in reality, nobody wants to live a life like that. Nobody really wants to live an entire life of complaining. Okay, but it's I think first off, we have to understand that life is hard. Okay. No one is saying, and I'm definitely master happiness. I am saying that you're going to run into problems. You are going to
Right.
run into reasons to complain. Okay. Everything has some negativity to it. I love the adage of you can't get a diamond unless coal is under pressure, right? You can't have olive oil unless olives are pressed,
Right.
right? You think about, I learned about this whole idea like lobsters have to outgrow, they're in so much pain, they grow out of their shells. They grow so big that their shells break. All right. And as they continue
Is
to
that
grow,
true?
yeah. And then
Huh.
this new shell grows on them. Okay. But for a short period of time, they have no shell. Okay. So much has to go through so much pain as we're growing. A butterfly has to struggle and fight to get out of the cocoon. They said that if you see like a butterfly working, trying to get out of a cocoon, and you cut the cocoon open and open it and let it out,
You're not
you-
doing it a favor, right?
you're hurting it because it's
Right.
never built enough muscle and it might not be able to fly. Okay.
Wow.
So throughout life, everyone is going to go through hardship. So we're always going to do that. The difference is how do we deal with it? Okay. And you look at it just of all those things we talked about, a butterfly does not go, this is too hard. I'm done. I'm jumping out and I'm not going to fly.
I'm not flying.
Yeah, because it was too hard, right? It doesn't do that, right? It lives on. We as humans, though, we're on the flip side because we're so smart, we can quit. Okay.
Right.
We have the brain and the willpower to give up. All right. And instead, what we have to do is trick ourselves, teach ourselves to say, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to fight for it because I'm on this planet. I'm alive for a short period of time
Right.
and I have a choice to have a great life or a lousy life. And life is going to come at me really hard. We always talk about this that right from the day one, the very first show, we talked about happiness is outnumbered 3 to 1. There
Uh,
is there is anger, sadness, and fear, and happiness sits alone. So if you want to be happy, you got to come up with 3 reasons to be happy every single day to fight the other 3. Okay. You really got to push for this. All right. And so this means the exact same thing. Every single time you see a negative, fight to see the positive in it. Okay.
I do that.
I
I
know you do.
I usually do, but there are days when you just don't feel like you can do it, you
No,
know?
Oh,
exactly. As
Right.
long as we don't make those days chronic,
Right.
right? That's the important thing. We don't want those chronic. As I'm trying to flip the switch over here. Yeah, we don't want it to be. We don't want it to take over our lives. Okay, knowing wholeheartedly that every time we complain, what ends up happening is we replay it in our brain and we increase the cortisol levels, which actually hurts our body. We rewire our body to be negative. Okay, instead of fighting to find some peace, some solace, just some joy. All right. That's what's so important. So we want to be able to do that. Now, most people are going to say, okay, thanks for the pep talk, right?
Right.
Life is hard. Good. you know, so how do
there's
we
always something
yes, yes,
positive.
right. I used
Always.
I used to play this game with my kids when they were younger called the silver lining game. And
God, I totally see you
yeah.
doing that.
Well, it
Of
was
course you do.
yeah,
Me
yeah.
too.
So we would play the game and it would be me, my daughter, and my son, and we'd sit at the table and they were, elementary school and probably just starting high school. She was 8th grade. And play this game. And to this day, she goes, Dad, I hated that game. I hated it. Right. My son was kind of like, it was a fun game because I get to think, it was like a
Right.
puzzle. And so I would say, we take turns, come up with the worst case scenario. What's the worst thing? What was a terrible, sad thing that could happen? And then we would take turns and try to come up with 3 positives to it, right? And it would be something like I remember my son bringing up the cat dies,
Oh,
right? And it was just like that. The cat dies, and it was like okay. And he goes, "We don't have to buy cat food. We can always get another cat."
Get another
Right,
cat.
right, right.
Right.
And I forget what the third one, what it. And so he got a kick out of it because it was like a puzzle for him.
Okay.
Okay, and my daughter was like, "I don't wanna think about the cat
I don't
dying."
want the cat to
Right, right,
die.
exactly. But it was like that whole idea of preparing yourself for the worst case scenarios,
Right.
right? And then saying, "If I practice that enough and I look at the worst case scenarios and I can immediately come up with positives,
that'll be a
I
habit.
can I can I can turn my life around."
Yeah.
Right, right. So, I'm liking during this whole time, Jill is staring Tiffany down saying, "Go ahead, say something."
No. I was wondering if people are complaining all the time, the things they're complaining about are not what is the root cause of why they're complaining. There's got to be an
Right.
underlying
Oh,
reason why they're not happy and
Well,
why
I
they're complaining.
I think that goes back to what we were talking about is what type of a complainer. Sometimes it's
Right.
just I want to fit into the crowd. Sometimes I just want you to pity me because I don't know how to make friends. Okay.
Right.
I don't know. If I stand here in the corner, I'm shy. I'm afraid I have social anxiety. So it's better feel sorry for me because at least you are recognizing me. Okay.
Right.
It's because not everyone can be the center of attention. Not everyone can be the funny one. They want to be somebody.
everyone can't be Marty.
That's
I
right.
know.
That's
I
right.
know. We're still here.
Thank
You know, we're
goodness.
here.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness there's not another one of me. I'd be fed up with them. All right. So let's get into this bacon about how we
So
change it.
this is the second
Yeah,
bacon.
this is it. This is it. So this is the idea of once you recognize that you're complaining a little bit too much,
Oh, okay.
we're going to go through this. So obviously, first you're going to love this, and you're going to love this one
Uh-uh.
specifically. It's B is breathe before you bleat. Okay,
Bleat meaning talk.
bleat. I don't know. Let's see, Jill. You ever
It's
heard
like
that term?
yeah, like a sheep. They
There you
bleat.
go.
Yeah.
Nice,
Like a
nice.
Yeah.
sheep?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
That,
sorry.
that's the bleat. That's the
You
nose
have
the
to,
ship
like,
the sheep make. Yeah,
explain
You
it.
know,
yeah.
Yeah,
That's it. That's
but
it.
making
In
a
other words,
noise.
it's just breathe.
Yeah.
I needed a B word, so I
Right.
couldn't say breathe before you shout.
No.
Before
Yeah,
before you
before you
cry. In other
bleat.
words,
Yeah.
you before you bleed. That's all.
Right.
oh,
I'm glad Jill was here today for that.
yeah.
All right. So in other words, it's that whole idea, that pause, that breathing sometimes is just enough to
Take
go,
a breath.
oh yeah. And you sit here and you go, why am I complaining about something so silly? Okay. Everyone used to do the same thing. Like you take those deep breaths, exhale, etc. Some people say count to 10. For me, I love telling people, like, when I was teaching kids and they would complain about something, I'm like, "Stop." I go, "You can complain if you want to, but it has to rhyme. Make the complaint a poem." And they would sit there like, "What?" And then they would sit there and think about it. They come up with a rhyme. By the time they're doing it, they're laughing about it,
Right.
and the complaint turned into something positive, right? And
I
I
like
said,
that. I like that.
it just was a pattern interrupt,
Right.
okay, that made them stop thinking about complaining and thinking about, "How am I gonna make this rhyme?" This is like and then they come up with it, and everyone is laughing about something that had I not done that, it would have been something he would have complained about or she would have complained about, and everyone in the classroom would run, "Oh, that's terrible." Instead, it turned it into a joyous, piece.
And they learned something.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
That
And they learned how to rhyme.
Right.
exactly, exactly. So it's important for us to take that break when we feel ourselves complaining, when we feel that negativity coming up, identify it. And it takes some time to sometimes identify it. But the more we talk, we have to become aware of what we're saying. Okay. And when
Right.
I'm talking and I'm saying this while I'm talking, I'm watching the person's face. And if I look at the face, I'm suddenly I should be saying to myself, "Am I complaining? Ooh, I'm complaining. Let me Tiff, give me a second. I got a rhyme for you." Right. So breathing, breaking the monotony, taking a moment before you open your mouth again is the B
And
in
is
this
it worth
bacon.
it? Will it
Yeah,
matter in 2 weeks? Not
exactly.
really.
Right, right. All right. So A is this. Ask yourself, is there an action or acceptance? All right. And this gets down to the whole idea that this thing happened. Can I change it? And if I can, I'm going to take action on it. Or if I can't change it, is it something I can live with? Okay. Because if you say this is something I cannot live with, then we have to come up with a whole different thing where you have to leave. You have to leave the situation.
Right.
You talked about somebody you have coffee with. They're a
Right.
constant complainer. You're going to say, can I take action? Can I change this
Yeah, you
person?
just leave and say, "I gotta go."
I've got to go. Right.
Right.
Right. Or am I going to accept it and stay here?
Yeah.
Right. There you go. No, no, of course not. Right. And you're
Yes,
like,
you
yeah, right.
will.
Right. Okay. The C in this bacon is check your company. Okay. And what I mean by that is what we talked about earlier. We are part of, or we are the conglomeration of the people we spend the most time with. We talk about our five closest friends. We did this last time. So, Jill, think about this. Can you think in your head of your, let's say, about 3 to 5 of your closest friends?
Mhm.
All right. Now, I don't want you don't have to name them and stuff like that. Now, what I want you to do is think about just one of them and what is something that you admire, you really like about the person.
I think they're always sunny, they're always in a good mood, they're always
Okay,
very helpful and, you
excellent. So
know,
that's one of them or all three of them?
I think
Let's say that's one of them. What about
one of
another
them.
one? What's another one? Now picture that person in your head. What's the redeeming quality about that person?
She's funny,
I like
and
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and she's good company, she makes
Okay.
me laugh.
All right. Awesome. And then how about the third person?
Third person, she moved away, but she a great shopper.
A great.
So
Oh,
if I
I
wanted
love
if
it.
I
I
wanted
love it.
company,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
don't shop very often, but if I wanted company, it's like, "You wanna go shop?" "Yep," she'd go shopping.
I love it. All right. So
Yeah,
I truly believe what happens is we surround ourselves with two different types of people. Those people who mirror us, who we see the best part of us in them, or we surround ourselves with people we want to aspire to be.
right.
Okay. And so we look at these people and you're like, ah, wow, you're good company. You're smiling. You're always joyful.
Yeah,
I want to hang out with you.
right.
Okay. Or
Wow, you know where the sales are at. I want to go
yeah,
shopping
exactly.
with
Right,
you.
right. It's perfect. And that's what I think is really important is identifying those people. And what's even more important is when you look at the people who you are forced to hang out with for whatever reason. It's in the larger friend group, it's family or whatever. These are some people you're forced with and you sit here going, "Why is it that I don't want to hang out with that person?" And now it's interesting here because it's the same thing. You see something in them that you don't aspire to be. I don't want to be that. Or sometimes you see yourself in them and you're like, oh, I'm like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's really important. Again, we go back to the first thing is be aware of who we are and be aware of
Right.
how what we say, be aware of how we affect people. That's the strongest thing for us to do. Okay. So that's why the C is check your company. Who do you surround yourself with?
And
And
I
if
listened last week I had think of about 5 friends, but friend that I dropped a year ago
yeah,
because why my sister said, "Why are you still friends with him?" I said,
yeah.
"I don't know."
Right.
What are you getting out of it? Nothing. Or why am I still here?
Yeah. What
So
am I because what are you giving up? You're giving up so much of your time, your
right.
energy, you're giving up your sanity.
Wasn't getting
Right.
much back. So it's like
Exactly.
it was time.
Right, right. And that's okay. It goes back to the whole idea is that we have to look at the photo album of our life, right?
Right.
And be able to flip through it and say, I had such a wonderful time with these people. Let's keep it there.
Right.
It doesn't have to if I make, we talked about when we were young kids that you can have 10 best
10
friends,
best friends.
right?
Right.
And so can you imagine if your best friend from elementary school or your 10 best friends were your only friends for the rest of your life?
Right.
How you'd be cheating yourself out of a full, rich life, right? So you want to continue. We can't all be Tiffany that continues to be that they're still her best friends. And
Yeah.
she's made 10 best friends every year for her entire life. So everyone loves Tiffany.
Aw.
All right. So surround ourselves with good people, and learn to be strong enough to walk away from those people that are not giving us anything back. Okay. All right. Now, in this bacon is own the outcome. Okay.
Gotta own it.
Yeah, you know it, baby, because we tend to react very quickly, and instead what we have to do is say sometimes it's a knee jerk reaction. This is how I reacted, but now how am I going to respond? I'm going to take some time. This is all on me. This is no one else's fault because it's up to me to accept it or reject it. It's up to me to say I'm going to act upon it or I'm going to live with it or I'm going to walk away from this scenario. All right.
Right.
And if I stay in there and I stay in a relationship like you talked about,
You're
Jill,
gonna drown,
yeah,
you know?
and you can no longer blame that person. You could say that's just who you are.
Right.
Okay? That's who you are. You can't blame that person. You can only blame yourself. If I'm walking through a forest and there's a path and instead I just hit my head on a tree and I go, "Well, I'm going to walk this way." And I keep hitting my head on the tree. I can't blame the tree
That's
because
exactly
the
right.
tree's the tree.
Right.
It's my fault for constantly smacking my head against the tree and I can't go, I cannot
Well, I
believe the
think
tree won't move.
I think if
Right?
that was a guy friendship, they wouldn't put up with that for so many years.
No.
Women are like, "I don't wanna hurt their feelings,"
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's how we are. So we
Right.
try and we try and we try,
Right.
and eventually it's like, "Nope."
Yeah, exactly. So something's got to give.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Tip, you've been really quiet. Are you just sucking this all in?
I am stuck. It's actually very, very informative.
Are you seeing people in your life that fit in these areas here, or are you seeing reflections of yourself, or what?
Oh, not reflection of myself, of
No, because
course
you're
not,
you're
because I'm
no.
positive.
Yes.
No, but there are, actually a few people that fit the bacon.
Yeah,
Yeah, and so I
eh,
was actually trying to think of what letter they
yeah.
belong to.
And I think it's really important for people like this. It's really important for us as friends to help them identify and just say, you complain a
That
little
is
bit, you
what I
complain,
can't do
and
that.
all you have, you don't. It's not an attack. Let's say you were a person who complained, and trust me, if you were a person who complained, I would tell you.
You
You know
would.
that by now,
No, you
right?
would,
Yes.
you
You
would.
wouldn't
So
be on the show.
it would be on the
I
show.
know.
And today we're talking about Tiffany and how much she complains. So, in other words, what I would do is say, Tiff, we have different outlooks in life. All right. I really try to look at the positive every single day. And you just look a little bit more towards the negative. And you might go, I do not. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's okay. And you know what? And maybe I'm misinterpreting it. But what we really need to do is I have to move on. I have to surround myself with more
Yeah.
positive people. Is it easy? No,
No,
no. But
That's not easy.
no,
no,
but
it's not I can't do it.
exactly. So Tiff, think of that. So you're going to be the person while Jill and I are running through the forest having a
I'll
good
be
time
having the
singing.
coffee.
No, and you'll be smacking having a coffee with the trees, smacking your head on it, going, "All right, next time, will you please move?"
Yeah,
Right. So you have to be able to do that. And
yeah.
so I'm so happy for you, proud of you, Jill,
But
that you
you reach
shared
a
that story.
point. That was a 40-year friendship
Yeah.
that just ended.
Wow.
It just
Wow.
ended, and
Wow.
I just went, "Okay." And
Yeah.
I felt nothing. I felt nothing.
Yeah.
It
And
was time.
right,
It was
right.
time. It was way overdue.
Wow.
But you maybe get to that point where you go, "Okay." So you say, "I
Yeah.
couldn't do that." I didn't think I could do that either. I
Yeah,
tried for
yeah.
2
Okay,
years to keep it going. It's like, "You know what? I'm just
okay.
exhausted."
I have a question for you. Did you actually say something to this person, or did it just slowly end?
I forgot to send them a card for their anniversary,
Oh, no.
and then she wanted to end the friendship because I didn't
Oh, all
send a
right.
card, and I said, "Well,
Okay.
if you're on Facebook, then I would say happy anniversary. She goes, well, I'm not on Facebook. I'm like, well, I don't send cards. She
Yeah.
goes, well, okay then.
Yeah.
Click.
And
Seriously.
so, you know what?
Done.
Maybe that was everything that person needed, right? And on the flip side, maybe it's also the idea that she wanted to end it but didn't know how to end it.
I must have been ready for that. And it's like, okay, it was easy for me. So it's
Yeah.
like, but it was odd because I felt nothing at all.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
So it
You know,
was time. It was
it's
time.
it's like we talked about before. The opposite of love is not hate. Okay, the
It's
opposite of love
nothing.
is apathy. Right,
Right.
yeah, and so it's this idea of you end a relationship. If you ended the relationship and you were constantly going, "I hate her. I can't believe she's doing that," and she was saying the same thing, "I hate Jill. I can't believe she did," at least you still have emotions for each other, but you probably both just faded away going, "It was time to end."
Okay, I have another question. Is it okay if I
Ask away.
Okay. So what if she said, "Jill, I really do miss you. Can we talk? We've been friends for 40 years. Would you talk and then maybe get the
No, because I
relationship?"
tried that. I tried
Oh,
that.
you did? Okay.
Yeah, we didn't speak for quite a while because she upset me, and her husband's like, "Well, you better call her because it's your fault." So I tried
Yeah.
again, and I
Yeah.
keep trying again, and keep trying again. It's like,
Okay.
that tree in the woods, it's like, it's not
Yeah.
working.
Nope.
No, no,
Nope.
because again, you can't bang your head against the wall all
Correct.
for the rest of your life. You have to take care of yourself first.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about.
But it's all about not feeling selfish, and that's really hard.
It's
Yeah.
It's hard to not feel selfish.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
S So, with that, you have to keep in mind, remember what they say on the airplane, all right, about you have to put your mask
Uh,
on before you can help
first,
somebody else,
right.
and you have to think about that, and you're right. It's really tough to not feel selfish, like, we want to be the friend to everyone, but if we're putting ourselves through the misery of being with those other people, we're like, "Oh, this person is
It
just a
was
chronic complainer."
exhausting.
And you do that, you have to look upon yourself as one of those complainers who you might be the type of person looking for pity. You might be, I'm not saying you were, but you might be the type of person who wants to hold on to that relationship because there's a lot of people who love complainers because it makes my life look better.
Well, she wasn't a
Yeah.
complainer, though. It was
Okay.
yeah, no, she wasn't a complainer.
She was just a negative
She was
Nancy.
very, one-sided, like, all about her.
Okay.
So
So she was being the selfish one.
Yeah. There you
and
go.
I'm trying to help you out, and it's
Yeah.
like, it just wasn't working.
Gotcha.
So,
Wow.
Gotcha.
it's like,
Okay, so with this, I'm gonna get into the end here, this last
Oh, we're
bacon, and
not done yet,
no,
are
this is
we?
the end. That was own the outcome. All right. It's the O was still the outcome was take radical responsibility for your life. All right. So that's really take responsibility for your life. Do not say, well, it was their fault and it's them. Nope, because you have some control. And the only control you have is of yourself. And like I said earlier, you can trick your brain, okay? And so unfortunately, it's easier to sit at the bottom of the hole and go, this is it. I can't get out, as opposed to just standing up and maybe you're like, oh my gosh, the hole's not that deep. I can really get out. I can get out of this hole. Like I was sitting at the bottom of this hole, right? So whatever it comes to, all right. So
All
the
you have to do is
yeah,
stand
stand
up.
up. Sometimes that's it. That's it. All right. So the N is this. Note the good. And we go back to the game I was telling you about was the silver lining game. All right. Is note the good with this. Is let the complaint out and understand it and tag that complaint and say, I got it. It's life is rough. I don't want it to be like that. But there are some good things to it. And so I like us thinking about this is, I said before, we ask the questions, what's the one part of whatever's happening that I can control? What's even just one part? Look at that thing. What would be a better outcome than me just complaining? Okay. And then what what do I really want to do instead? Okay. And you ask yourself those questions over and over again. And the easiest way to remember this is I like this is think, feel, react in reality. Okay. So when you say something to me that upsets me, let's say you cut me off in traffic.
Oh,
Car cuts me off in traffic, right? And immediately, the car cuts me off. I have to say, so what did that make me think? Well, I think the guy is rude. He doesn't
right.
he doesn't care about anyone else. He only thinks of himself. He cut me off. How did that make me feel? Well, I feel like less than I was. I feel like I've been taken advantage of. Okay. I feel hurt. I feel mad. Right. How am I reacting? Well, I'm reacting by getting angry.
Giving him the finger.
My blood pressure's going up. I'm speeding up my car because I'm going to catch up to him because I hope I can catch up to him. I want to look in his car, look him dead in the eye, right?
Tell him he's an idiot.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And then you have to say, what's the reality? If I drive and I catch up to the guy, which I'm speeding up now, angry, which I could get in an accident, okay, the reality is, why don't I just let him go?
It could be an emergency.
Exactly.
Right.
And which is one of those things I love doing with traffic is, but I just want to finish this is that whole idea of, so ask yourself, what am I thinking? What did this make me think? What is it making me feel? And how am I reacting to this? And then what is the reality behind it? What is the truth? What is going on here? And you're right.
It's
He
not
could have said,
personal.
no, exactly.
Right.
Right. And even if it was personal, what can I do about it? And what am I willing to live with?
Right.
Yeah. And so if the guy cuts me off and he's driving, what does it matter if I catch up to him and I cut him off?
You'll
And
feel
then
better.
right, no, I don't. I'm cutting her mic off. No, yeah, you might feel better for a moment until
Right.
that person cuts you off again,
Right.
right? And the way I look at it, I really try to do this, and it's easier to say than to do. But sometimes what I'll do is I'll imagine if somebody cuts me off, that is a father or a mother rushing to a hospital to see their
Right.
sick child. That is
Right.
the doctor trying to get there to say, do the
Ah.
operation. All right, hold on, listen to me. So that every time now, because I continue to practice this, every time now someone cuts me off, I smile and I go, I just saved a life. I just
Right.
saved a life because that's what I'm going to do instead because it continues to make me happy. I could get angry. I could shake my fist. I could try to catch up and give them the finger, but there's nothing good is going to come out of that. But some good of it can come out of me going, I just saved a life.
Okay, so someone cut me off the other day, and I followed him. I didn't I happened to be going home
I followed him and I had a gun in the car.
Not at my car.
and went into the high school.
Okay.
Didn't go to the hospital.
All right.
Didn't save a life.
Maybe late for
Yeah.
class.
But was
Yeah,
he
to
was
pick
he a teacher or a student?
I think it was a parent picking up his kid from school.
All right. Maybe the parent was like picking up the kid to school to bring him to the hospital because their younger brother was there.
No,
Wait, no, don't say no because you don't
You
know.
don't know.
I'm guessing as
know.
much as you're guessing.
Right.
I think
Maybe it was a parent dropping their kid off at school, and that kid made it to that class and became a doctor who saved lives later on.
Well, it was after school.
So now this kid is extracurricular activity. That's exactly the
Ah.
types of doctors we need.
Yeah, I
Right?
guess so.
Yeah.
Late for
So
detention.
it's all about which story are you creating.
Yeah.
Okay. And the fact that you followed him, my God,
No,
we
it
went
was
to high
on my
school.
way home, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
he put his foot on the
My-
brake and turned into the high
And then
school.
But if you get angry in the car, if somebody cuts you off, they don't know that you're angry.
No,
Then
exactly.
it doesn't affect
is
them
true.
at all.
No, you're
No,
right.
So
You're
you're the
absolutely
only
right.
person
And it
that-
wasn't me only that he cut off. He cut me off, and then he cut the person ahead of me
Wow.
out because he was trying to hurry up and get to the school.
Think of
Let
all the
them.
lives you saved. Good for you, Tiff. You're a lifesaver. All right. With that, it
Is
is
it
the end
time?
of the show. Can you believe that? There
No.
you go. So I know you have to leave early, Jill. All right. So now that the show is over, thank you so much, Jill, for participating. I love
was
all,
fun.
all these insights. Tiff, great insights. And I know you grew some brain cells today. You learned all kinds of new
I
stuff.
did.
I
It was
know.
actually a very good show.
I'm glad.
It was
And
fun.
It was.
I
It was
like
good.
this. And so if you missed any part of the episode, shame on you for this, but later this week, tune into Bacon Bits with Master Happiness anywhere you listen to podcasts and catch the entire episode. So until then, thank you all so very